I'm about to find out.
House Joint Resolution 192, co-signed through Obama. Fundamental trust, fundamental pattern. After the Red House fell, they set up a global world trust. All conquered peoples and lands are administered in that global world trust. That global world trust set up by the popes of Rome under the Spanish Inquisition sets the groundwork for the politics on the planet for the last few hundred years. That's the fact. All political jurisdictions, all corporate entities, all non-profit entities, all licenses, all permits come under the Roman Curia. You see the point?
Yes.
Now,
yes.
so you have people, you got mixed Moors, you know, that they're calling both Latin, which is the language, and Spanish, both which is false. The same way Negro applied to Moors is false. And so you have people dealing with a false paradigm, arguing, and the adults are sitting there looking at them arguing, and the platform itself altogether is incorrect. But because they don't want to rock the boat, because this is the established socialization mind control, they don't want to rock the boat, and they let that paradigm stay, and then they're going to try to figure out how to get the children to stop fighting each other about, you know, you Spanish
social
and black
workers and all that.
and they're under mind control, and you know it.
Everybody making money.
So all you have to do is what? Tell the truth of the history, and they won't be doing that. But instead, the adults want to protect the false paradigm that they themselves have accepted.
401k.
And rather than admit their own corruption, they watch their own children be destroyed, and then they want to pray and march and rally and have meetings. They're fraudulent, and they're hypocrites. Look, what is the history? This is the history. Al-Andalus, later called Spain, the last major stronghold of the Moorish Empire in Europe. 1492, Granada was overthrown. The popes of Rome set up a global world trust by which all conquered lands of the Moors would be administered. That global world trust exists to this very day. London, under the secret Treaty of Verona, the secret Treaty of Verona that was conjoined with the Spanish Inquisition against the Moors, is used as the manual of operations in government, and particularly in what they refer to as Occidental or Western governments. Now, to divert the people from what's really going on, they give them the false race and color game argument to keep them busy while they're getting raped. Then they pay so-called, and all you got to do is look up the Margaret Sanger operations on eugenics. The so-called black leader preacher guys are the liaisons paid off to keep the sheeple passive while they get sheared. And then the believers are sitting around talking about Jesus when they don't know the books. This is the real politics. Later on, after they murdered Kennedy for doing a counter move to the COINTELPRO operations that took place with the coup d'etat of May the 10th of 1861, to pick up where Lincoln left off to restore the organic Constitution. They murdered Kennedy, and Lyndon Baines Johnson, Skull and Bones, set up the 501c3 control paradigm to control black marching, keep hope alive leader guys, to keep the black, Negro, civil rights, 14th Amendment, corporate person paradigm going as a reality when it's actually institutionalized servitude. Knowing that the people can't read and don't know their history, they think these people are working in their favor. This is the politics that goes on in the so-called black community. In 1933, July the 4th, the 5th, June the 5th, 1933, House Joint Resolution 192, 73rd Congress in session, Franklin Delano Roosevelt put up all the birth certificates of these African American people who think Negroes and blacks and coloreds and monkeys and what color you are, thinking those are realities, as bank bonds to back the other bonds that were crushed. They built shell corporations, and this one was registered in Puerto Rico. And these bank bonds are registered on 55 Water Street, New York. These bonds and the bonding system was set up after the Civil War on the Moorish Americans, who they tagged African Americans, Negroes, blacks, etc. since the Civil War, which Pope Francis exposed when he came to Philadelphia. So it's not like it's a secret.
Exactly.
It's not like it takes deep scholarship to know this.
Yeah, it's right there.
And he's the owner of the corporate entities. Now,
like saying what you gonna do.
yeah. Now, so it's sort of like, yes, it's kind of unfair, but it's sort of like when you've been told
Yeah.
your excuses are no longer accepted. However, now let me get back to what you were talking about before, when you was talking about business.
Yeah.
For scholars who already know this, why haven't they have already told our people and our children, instead of watching them make these stupid arguments about colors, when they know that that is a black code paradigm for property, not for humans. It's for stock, for chattels. And then they exactly for social control. Yes. Now, these are realities. It's not mere opinion. It is documented reality. Logically, if we're going to deal with preserving our people's business for what they produce, their intellectual property, what they produce with their own hand, their labor, they must know what's been set up against them to know how to counter. If they don't know that this is against them, they're arguing colors when it's birthright theft. And this is exactly what's going on. Now this case with Abraham Lincoln and William Dungy, this is 1855. Same argument that we're talking today, which means it's not a new issue. But yet most people, most of our people, if you present this to them, they're not, never even heard of it, not even familiar. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now keep in mind, after the Jesuit order set up the Global World Trust by which they administer all conquered lands and peoples of those lands. This is where the birth certificate comes in. This is where the Daughters of the American Revolution set up the marriage code, where they claim the eggs, even the eggs in the fallopian tubes before they're even born. Now these are known factors. This is not speculation. All them same reverends in all them corner churches, Masons, know this. Do they tell them people that when they be going through their marriages? They be taking finances and talking about Jesus and Lord and reading from the Bible, don't they? Knowing that they're bonds. Knowing that they're bonds. Now, good brother, what occurs, because that's the fact, that if one doesn't do a public declaration or proclamation of reversion of your estate and is considered abandoned, which is how they operate. Does ignorance of the law of your bloodline excuse you?
Not at all.
Exactly. And then when they try to revert to the Bible and hide behind that, don't the Bible says honor your mothers and your fathers that your days may be longer upon the earth land which the Lord thy God has given thee?
Yes, sir.
Doesn't it say every man, every woman, every child must confess their own? According to the law, are they excused for not confessing their own?
Not at all.
But they make them anyway, don't they? Now, in law, they're not excused. And so when they start talking about, well, we didn't know, remember this is the rule. How dare you claim the love of God you do not see, and love not your brothers and sisters whom you see every day. Likewise, how dare you claim to know the law of the God and the creator of the heavens and the earth and all things made, and don't even know the rules of your own creation, on the land that you're standing. Same rule, same rule. Thus, ignorance of the law is no excuse. Don't make them. And when you continue to make excuses, you're in contempt. And then when you're treated with contempt, you want to call it racism? No, you're in contempt. We need to recognize when we're out of order. It's sort of like we're so busy complaining about what the European has done to us or is doing to us that we forgot our responsibility. And that's where our problem is.